As far as tools for the job, not a whole lot. You have your tire lug wrench, large screwdriver, some lube, a wide brush, a hammer, a C-clamp, a 7mm hex wrench. Taking off the lug nut cover, and we're going to crack the lug nuts, and then we'll jack the car up, and we'll remove the lug nuts the rest of the way, remove the tire, and we'll take a look at the brake pads and the rotors. As a quick precaution, I am going to turn off the air suspension system, and I am also going to remove the lid to the master cylinder. Because I'm jacking up the back of the car, there's nothing stopping from the front wheels from spinning freely and rolling, so you do want to stick something under the tire, both front and back, just to kind of keep it from moving. So right here, there's a little cap. I'm going to take that cap off. You do it just with your fingers. And inside there is a pin that takes a 7mm hex wrench. So I'll grab one of those and we'll back that up. There's going to be one just like that on the bottom. So with those pins out, or just backed off, I should say, then you can just pry this up. And again, we don't want to put any stress on the brake line, so we're going to put them up top for now. What we're going to do is we're going to pop out the brake pads, and then you just got to take a screwdriver and just poke them in, take the other one out, and then we're going to compress the caliper. In comparison, old versus new, definitely was a time to change it. I wasn't too far away for metal on metal. So we're just going to hit with the hammer a couple places here and see if we just take it right off. What is interesting about the rear brakes is they are calipers and disc brakes, but they also are drum brakes at the same time. And these drum brakes are really only for your parking brake. Because there's just one piston to collapse inside the caliper, you can just put the C-clamp directly on the top of the piston and clamp it to the back there and tighten it down. Just be really careful with that protective boot. Inside that caliper, you're going to push those pins out. We're going to pull them out, and we're going to clean them off, and we're going to put some lube on them as well so they can kind of slide in and out. We're going to put some lube inside that hole as well. So I have the pins lubed up. I have the holders all cleaned and lubed. Put the new rotor on. Just put one lug nut on there to keep it from falling off. And when you're touching this, try to, touch it in this area and in the hole there. Try to keep your hands off. That part I did actually wash my hands right before I grabbed it or whatever. And if you get something out, just use some brake cleaner and a rag to clean it all off. When looking at the new brake pads, you can tell they're slightly different. This section right here, it's got a smaller clip. This section right here is a larger clip. The larger clip one actually sits inside the piston, and the outside one sits in the outside of the caliper. And they should sit in there just like that. Now we're ready to put this back on. This side did take me 30 minutes to do, but of course, because I'm trying to do an instructional video and recording stuff and stopping and washing my hands to make sure I'm not touching my camera with gross hands, probably realistically, if I just kind of banged it out, probably a 20-minute job per side. I'm going to go do this side now, expecting the exact same outcome. So under an hour to do your back brakes, and the total cost of this job was about $200. That's rotors and pads combined. Make sure you go back, and when you start the car up, you turn the air suspension system back on, put the cap back on the master cylinder, and remove all the things you used to chock the wheels with. And then you're going to have to pump up the brakes a little bit to get the pistons to touch back again. The brakes are going to feel a little squishy at first, but just pump them up a few times and you should be good to go. If you guys did like this video and you enjoyed it, saved you some money, please subscribe, like, and comment. I'd like to hear from you on your success stories.